Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is going to be the mid-June love check-in for the sign of Gemini. Alright, so let's get Geminis up. Geminis, how you doing? You were calling my name tonight. I've already put up the one for Pisces. Started with Pisces for one of my subscribers who's a Pisces. And now I'm sitting here meditating and shuffling, and you guys calling my name, right? Calling my mind, my focus, and I felt like I think the next one I'm gonna do is read for is Gemini. Love you guys. My daughter's a Gemini, and so happy to have her. She's getting me used to Geminis. Love you guys. All right, so let's see what's going on. Oop. I'm not taking any flyers. I'm going to pull 2 cards for you and your person. This is specifically a love check-in reading. The weekly readings are general. They can involve love, but they're general relationship readings about whatever you're dealing with that week. This is specifically about love. All right, so show me what's going on with my lovely Geminis. Show me. Trust. First one out the gate. This situation is calling for you to have faith. All right? Trust and new love. Wow. A new person has stirred your romantic feelings. So trust and new love. All right? So we're going to see what that's all about. At the bottom, you've got stay optimistic about your love life. All right? So that's another little energy that's running through. This is the 2 major ones, though. Trust and new love. So we'll see what comes up out of the reading. Usually they get clarified through the reading. So let's get into your cards. What's going on for Gemini this mid-June? Alright, show me what's going on in your love life. We want to know about love they have, love they want to get, want to keep in relationships. Are they ready to leave a relationship? We just want to know what's going on. Your major love life this week for Gemini. Show me. Show me. All right. Wheel of Fortune. Here we go. 4 Swords. That came up just now for Pisces. Ace of Wands. 8 of Swords. 10 of Wands. Completion. 5 of Swords. Interesting. 6 of Cups. And 4 of Pentacles at the bottom. 6 of Swords, a journey, another journey. A lot of journeys happening around now, right? 6 of Swords talks about journeying away from chaos and towards harmony. Let's just see what's going on here. All right, well. Been a lot of stuff going on, Gemini. Wheel of Fortune. All right, so most recently you've probably been having a lot of a lot of opportunities coming your way. There's probably been a lot of like occurrences most recently that seem kind of like luck, you know, like good luck, like you're having a little bit of good luck coming your way. The wheel is turning. Whenever the Wheel of Fortune shows up, that means the wheel is turning. That means divine opportunities are coming your way. I always like to say it's not the wheel of misfortune, it's the wheel of fortune. So these opportunities are good opportunities. But right now you're feeling kind of like you don't want to move. You don't want to move. You're not really sure which way you'd like to go, right? You're feeling like you're in kind of a stasis period. You're kind of deciding, you're strategizing, right? You're thankful for what you have so far. You know, this specific card is about maintaining stability, all right? So You've already attained a certain amount of stability, but you want to maintain that stability. So you're thinking before you're moving, you're planning your next step, you're strategizing. This is not just about waiting. This is not just a waiting card, but it's specifically about maintaining stability, 4 being the number of stability. All right. All right. So that's where you're at right now, but your love life is quite exciting, right? You've got 3 of Cups. You're enjoying yourself. You're very much like being sociable. Threes is all about, coming together with like-minded people, bonding, social group bonding can also be my honeymoon card. Sometimes when you first gotten together with someone, you have that 3 of Cups honeymoon phase. But right now, you're just kind of feeling really happy and friendly. Like I say, this is not necessarily, this could be for Geminis out there that are single, right? um, You're living your best life right now. All right? I kind of feel like this is a reading for those of you who are not in relationships. And so right now, this is resonating. Perhaps this is a message that you need to hear. But right now, it's almost as if you're not really thinking about new relationships. You're kind of living your best life, right? You're enjoying yourself, but as far as making any major decisions, you're not really ready to do it. Right now, though, you do feel right now as if you're kind of like at the beginning of a big journey, right? You're at the precipice of a lot of opportunities coming your way. You can feel it in your bones. And I think that's why you're kind of like holding back from making any major decisions. There is like a inspiration that's going to come in. This can be a new love. Ace of Wands can be a new love, a new passion, a new inspiration coming in. There's something new coming your way that's definitely divinely led. It's part of this Wheel of Fortune energy that you've got, right? Wheel of Fortune being above it. It's certainly an opportunity, right? A major opportunity. This is something that's you're going to notice this different from every other thing that's happening. It's going to present itself. There's no way you're going to be mistaken about it. You know what I mean? It's going to be and perhaps that's why the trust card has come up. You may doubt when this comes through, when this opportunity comes through, but I think you're going to get some reaffirmations as well, right? But you're certainly feeling a little bit like, Ace of Swords, right? And that could be part of the reason why you've got this kind of period of waiting where you don't want to make any decisions. I think you feel like you've perhaps in the recent past been making decisions that haven't worked out so good for you, right? And it could be, especially since this, I believe, is certainly for you guys who are single. Can be to some of you Geminis, you're still kind of reeling from the past a little bit. I think you kind of feel like, maybe in the most recent relationship or in past relationships, you've been put in a situation where you felt kind of helpless. You felt kind of like, before you know it, you've been sucked in type of scenario. I think you're a little bit wary right now. That's why you're kind of enjoying yourself. You're being really sociable and everything. But in terms of like being in a one-on-one relationship, I think you guys are kind of still reeling from like, recent relationships where you just kind of felt perhaps like a victim. 8 of Swords is interesting though, it talks about finding your limitations, finding your strengths and your weaknesses. And a lot of big part to do with the 8 of Swords is realizing that a lot of that isolation and that feeling of helplessness is really due to your own making, right? I mean, you've kind of imprisoned yourself in sort of rigid thinking, not being flexible, adhering to tactics and ways of interacting that don't serve you, right? But yet you're stuck. You kind of still adhere to them, The 8 of Swords comes up for that type of person who's very opinionated and doesn't let somebody else have their opinion, but it ends up isolating them from people, right? They may believe that people, and then they have this attitude of like, well, people just don't like me because I gotta be, because I'm opinionated. No, people don't like you because you're an asshole. You know what I mean? It's like, you ever meet somebody like that? And I'm not saying this is you, Gemini, but I'm saying this is part of this kind of card. That kind of energy of like, you paint yourself into a corner with your rigid thinking, and then it's the rest of the world's fault that you're all alone, right? And at some point, you got to kind of realize that part of it is your fault as well. However, I feel like this is just kind of left over from previous relationships, And especially here with 6 of Wands, you don't want that anymore. You know, you don't want that kind of like, you're ready for harmony. Interestingly enough, Nine of Wands is underneath of that too. Nine of Wands is kind of like a follow-on from the Eight of Wands, you know, waking up at night like with anxiety. But nevertheless, you don't want that. And I'm saying that's not where you're at, but that's you certainly, this is the center card. So right now, it's something that's really taking up your mind this mid-June, Gemini. It really is. You're thinking a lot. I think you're thinking a lot about old relationships. I think you're thinking a lot about situations that you've gotten yourself into or that you've been in, and you felt kind of, like I said, helpless. I think you're trying to figure out why. And if you are, this is, you know, this is the thing that this is kind of the message that pulling this card wants you to see, which is if you're trying to heal from past hurts, especially hurts where you felt victimized, where you have felt helpless, try to think of how you have contributed in that way to feeling helpless. You know what I'm saying? Like, what did you do? And I'm not saying this is a fault thing, right? Blaming yourself, but sometimes we blame ourselves anyway, but it's the fact that we don't take responsibility where we feel the guilt. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like when you've been victimized sometimes, you know, typical kind of victim, right? They've been like what they say, the psychology of victim, like you've been victimized, right? And you feel like it's your fault. Perhaps you were attacked, right? This is an example. You feel like it's your fault you were attacked. You know it's not really your fault. In your conscious mind, you know it's not really your fault, right? But somewhere inside you do kind of believe that it is. And so unless you kind of confront that, right, and say, well, yeah, I do kind of think it was my fault for this or for that, and then forgive yourself and let that go, you kind of will continue to be in pain. Do you know what I mean? And fault and guilt is never really about who is actually at fault. No one is actually at fault, really. It's about taking responsibility. And because this is the center card, this is quite major right now. It's a blockage, if any, in going forward with a new person, I think. It's been a long haul, and you have a lot of baggage that you're getting rid of right now. Ten of Wands talks about that last little push through from a very long journey with a lot of baggage, a lot of, trials and tribulations. You've been through a lot of trials and tribulations, but Ten of Wands talks about leaving that behind. And I think that because now you're kind of going through this healing process, you will be able to leave some of those burdens behind. You know what I mean? And again, interesting, I love this spread because of the aspect of the cards. Part of leaving this burden behind will be your interaction that you're having with your friends and your social group. You're going to get a lot of confidence out of that. You're going to get a lot of confidence out of being social and being around your friends. And I think that confidence is going to help you here with laying down some of these burdens, laying down some of this baggage, letting go, liking yourself, forgiving yourself, opening yourself up for new love, possibly, right? Something new. You have to, you take the blindfold off in order to see this opportunity coming in. Interestingly enough, you see how she's kind of facing the Ace of Wands, but she's still blindfolded. She's still caged inside of her own kind of self-limiting thoughts. Eight of Swords. Eight being the number of limitations. Eight being the number of strengths and limitations, weaknesses, knowing your weaknesses, knowing your boundaries, setting boundaries. Eight in the major arcana is strength. Okay, so there you go. All right. Down here, it's the bickering and the fighting from others that is like, you don't want that. It can come. It could possibly come. Right? Now, interestingly enough, this is at the corner. Here you have good times with your friends. You have this healing period, and down here you have Five of Swords bickering. Right? I believe there will be people in your life who aren't going to be happy to see you lay down those burdens. There will be a few, All right. There will be a few. 5 being the number of power struggles. There's always someone in your life. When you start to heal, there's always someone. It's almost like, I don't want to say the devil because the devil gets misconstrued, but it's almost like the negative energy. There's always someone somewhere who's got that negative energy who does not want to see you heal. And when you do, they're going to start to bicker, to argue, to try and throw a monkey wrench in it, to try and take away your victory, right? To try and take away any kind of like significance, right? Play it down. Don't worry about them. Don't worry about that energy. Be ready for it. Be mindful of it. It may come your way, okay? But this is going to come from jealousy. It's going to come from seeing you get better. The better you get, the more healed you become, the more open you become, the more optimistic about your love life you become, the more you trust yourself, right? Trust yourself, trust your friends who you know are loyal. The more you become yourself, the more they may like try to bubble up, but just as they try harder, each time they try, they're going to fail even more spectacularly. Do you understand what I mean? It's almost like the stronger you get, the harder they try, the bigger they fall, right? The bigger they get, you know, they say that, you know, it's that old saying, the bigger they are, the harder they fall, right? The more they try, the harder and bigger their failure will be. And eventually they'll stop. This is, you know what I mean? This is very hollow winning. It's winning by deceptive means. It's people who are going to try and stab you in the back and things like that. Try and gossip. You just, you know what I mean? They're just not going to be able to touch you. As long as you continue to heal, right? As long as you continue to do that shadow work of knowing where your weaknesses are and knowing where your strengths are, playing to your strengths, right? And employing your friends and the people who love you to help you with your weaknesses. In that way, you'll lay down that burden and you come to the 6 of Cups, another 6, another journey towards harmony. Harmony in love, interestingly enough, right? So this is where the new love comes in. And this is where this kind of like, this work that you're doing will open you up for new love. It'll open you up for a love that was probably always there, but that you were blocked off from. 6 being harmony. But also a lot of people talk about 6 of Cups as kind of soulmate energy. If you look at that, they're like little kids in love. And I akin it to when your souls are young. It's young souls, right, who come in contact and fall in love. Now they're old souls, and they've been in love this whole time. They've been soulmates. In and out of lives, in and out of adventures, right? But when they were very young, when their souls were very young, they met and they fell in love. And that to me is kind of the essence of this card in terms of soulmate energy. It's young energy, it's young love, but it's young soul love when you come together. It's harmony in its essence. 6 of Cups is harmony in the essence of it, right? And so harmony and love, of course, endures. Of course it endures. I mean, that's ultimately what you want, you know. You know, it's harmony. It's like the highest frequency, right? So if you travel, 6 being journeying towards harmony, if you achieve the perfect harmony, of course that is love in its best form, and in the form that can endure. And so, you know, that's what you're working towards. There will also come towards this end period a time when you're going to want to you're going to feel like you need to hold on to your finances. It could be that some of this bickering may be at your finances. It may be at your livelihood. If they can't get you one way, they'll get you another way. So, and I'm not talking about being paranoid, how they're going to get you. I'm talking about, you know, it's not just you'll know who I'm talking about. This is like somebody you know, a friend, a family member, whatever. Somebody in your social circle who is a jealous asshole who always gets, you know what I mean? You know who this person is, right? They may make you feel like you need to protect your finances or you need to protect your livelihood to a certain degree. Could just be somebody at work who likes to come at your neck all the time. Do you know what I mean? That's the kind of energy I'm talking about. And this would be all the way towards the end of going through all of this kind of period right now. This is an energy to think about. It's a 4, right? So it's another harmony. You've got 2 4s and 2 6s. So it's all about stability and harmony for you this month, and that's a good thing. Let me get your clarifying cards out with the soft deck. Where are we at? 19 minutes? That's not bad. All right. I wonder why I was called to do this reading, and I think this is why. Gemini, you're going through a real healing period. This is certainly for you Geminis who are single and who have had to heal from a past relationship, certainly. All right. And sometimes I do readings like this. I talk about healing from past relationship, and I might get comments from people who are talking about relationships that, you know, broke up 2 and 3 years ago, and that they're still healing from. You know, if that is the case and this resonates with you, then, you know, I wish you all the best, but it's like you really then need to do the shadow work, right? The shadow work, because, you know, letting years go by, you know, and being burdened, this kind of burden, you know, it's like there's dealing with it and then there's dealing with it, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, you know, you can still have pain. You know, there's things I've gone through in my life where it took many, many years for me to get over it, right? But it didn't stop me. And I guess that's what I'm trying to say is like, if you're going through something that's taking a long time to heal, that's fine. It can take a long time to heal, but don't let the healing process stop you from living the rest of your life. It's okay to do both. It's okay to continue to live the rest of your life and to move forward and to be in pain. Everything doesn't have to stop because you're in pain, right? If everything stops because you're in pain, then that takes away from the healing process. It's almost impossible to heal. You have to keep moving forward, you know. And if that's in a love relationship and you don't want to be with anybody else, that's fine. Don't be with anybody else, but don't let that kind of pain sort of like stop your whole life, you know, stop your whole forward motion, right? Because in that way, you know, if you keep going forward with your life, if you keep, you know, seeking ways to enjoy yourself and, you know, seeking to love yourself even though you're in pain, you know, I'm hurting, but I still love myself and I still want to do better for myself, eventually the pain will get less. But if you're just sitting in pain and then you're not feeding your soul, feeding the rest of your soul, you're just going to sit there in pain for years and years, and you're just never going to get any better. The rest of you has to be fed and healed as well. The rest of your soul has to be fed while that portion of you is healing. I hope that message is clear. Give me some clarity on these cards for Gemini. Please show me. Okay. Knight of Wands. Hierophant. Universe came out. Both of these have come out already before last reading. Knight of Swords coming in. 4 of Cups. There you go. There's the 4 of Wands. Soulmate energy. 3 of Discs. Interesting. 8 of Wands. And 9 of Discs. Gain. Wow. Okay. Here you go. Prince of Wands is coming in, leading with the heart. He comes in with passion and motion. He leads with the heart. He puts projects into motion. He puts ideas into motion. He gets the relationship going. You know what I mean? He's not being slowed down. And everything he does from the heart, right? So yeah, here we go with Wheel of Fortune is coming in, Knight of Wands, you know. So there's fresh, passionate inspiration coming in, and it certainly feels like they're moments of divine, like, opportunity, right? They're coming in fast, though. Very fast. Very hot, very exciting, okay? It's exciting times for you right now, Gemini. It could feel a little bit like a whirlwind for you, right? Knight of Wands energy, right? Could be that somebody's coming in for you, right? Someone could be coming in for you, a friend, a new person, a new interest. Something is either a person or these opportunities are just coming in very hard and passionate for you. You know what I'm saying? Um, Knight of Wands is the one who brings the idea. You know, he brings the idea and the possibility of putting it into motion. He's the one who's like, let's get going, let's do this. All right, I got ideas. Boom. You know, he's got the outline already ready. You know, he's leading. He's ready to get the wheels in motion. You know what I'm saying? He's kind of the you know, if you're feeling slow, if your momentum is slow, if you're feeling kind of like what do they call it? Not pessimistic, but it's like if you just like you know, you're not moving on your procrastinating. That's it. If you're procrastinating, the Knight of Wands energy comes in and gets you off your ass. It gets you excited. It gets you ready to move forward. And I think right now things are happening for you in such a way that are very exciting. Opportunities are coming in that are very exciting. Right. And again, like I said, you're holding off on making any plans in terms of love, I think, right now, because it's like, you know, the Hierophant, you know, the Hierophant is talking about commitment. You know, you want the love to fit in the mold and the idea of a relationship that you want, and you're just not willing to take less than that. You know, you're okay on your own. You're happy being, you know, you're fine on your own. You know, I don't feel lonely energy from you at all, Gemini. You're perfectly happy being on your own. You just will not move. You just will not make any plans unless they, you know, they jive with what your expectations are. You know, 5 is the Hierophant. He's the lead, you know, he's the the Hierophant is kind of like, you know, the highest kind of representation of, you know, whatever you believe in, God or whatever, on earth, right? Like if you know, for instance, you're a Catholic, it will be the Pope sort of thing, right? So he's your beacon, you know, for your faith and what you believe in and what you hold to be true, what you're committed to. And so that's why you know, you're not willing to kind of make any plans with anything else. Here you go. Universe is here as well with this 3 of Cups. Like I said, right now you feel good. You see your path. The universe is all about seeing everything from a bigger picture, right? You're seeing your life from a bigger picture, your path. You know which way you want to go. You have a lot of confidence right now, and I think you're not prepared to share that with anyone unless they're coming correct, right? You know, this kind of pain that you had from the previous relationships, you're just not willing to go through that. You feel so, you know what I mean? When I say down here healing, I'm not talking about you healing like in yourself in terms of like, you know, that you need your self-esteem. Or I think you have really great self-esteem right now. I think you feel great right now, but you feel great on your own, right? And you're kind of in that place where you're happy to be on your own, but that place can become stuck. You know, you can get so used to being on your own and finding contentment with that. But finding contentment with that because you're afraid to be with somebody else is not really the same as simply being content with that, right? Being content with it and also being open to new love in a healthy way is ultimately really where you want to be, right? So, like I say, yes, you have a lot of confidence and you certainly know which way you're going, but it's like this healing needs to happen if you want to be, you know, if you want to be joined, if you want to, you know, be with someone else, if you want to have new love, you have to trust. You have to begin to trust again. That's why trust is here. This is how the cards get clarified through the reading. This Ace of Wands. So this is why I was hesitant to say that this is an actual individual coming in. I think this is more of an energy. You know, it could be that you have been procrastinating a lot lately, and these opportunities coming to you through this divine wheel of fortune turning is getting you going, because I think truly the person coming in for you is this, the Knight of Swords. This is the person coming in for you. Now, this could be somebody who's bringing you a project. This could be somebody who's kind of likes you, you know. I mean, Ace of Wands can be a new relationship, but I don't think that this is necessarily one of those boom, romantic, bang, bang. This is someone coming in, and he's certainly got your attention, right? Knight of Swords will get your attention. Extremely intelligent, intellectual, mentally agile, quick-witted, funny, right? Comes in, focused. You see the short sword and the long sword. That's the yin and the yang focused equally. Okay, so this is the person, Gemini, that you're going to sit up with all night long and have conversations. It's going to be very exciting. Now, this person may not start off as a love interest. I have a funny feeling that it could develop into one. But right now, this is starting off as sort of just like a new, exciting friendship, project, liaison, whatever. Something somehow coming together, working, and on a friendship level, but in a real kind of like, bang, wow, we really connect well, right? Now, of course, the romantic part necessarily isn't there because you're still doing your healing over here. And why are you doing your healing? Because of that Four of Cups. Here we go with the fours. Got a lot of fours, a lot of fours. You want stability so bad. You really do. But yet you also have your own version of stability. So Four of Cups talks about wanting stability in relationships, not just wanting that shallow. Look how shallow those cups are. It's like you can't even, like the cups themselves aren't shallow, but like the water, like pouring over, it's just kind of like, it's not like gushing or flowing. It's just, it's luxury. It's shallow. The water that underneath where the vines are, you see, it doesn't look very deep. Again, it looks very shallow. Four of Cups. It talks about like what am I in the traditional deck, for those of you who are familiar, it's the one where the person is sitting there with the Three of Cups and the other cup is coming out of the cloud. And it's almost like, yeah, I've been there before. I've had these relationships before and I haven't been satisfied. Now here you come offering me the same thing again. The cup you're offering me looks the same. Here we go. It's luxury. Yeah. I don't want this more of the same. I don't want more of the same easy kind of unfulfilling relationship. I want stability in my relationships. I want something that lasts, right? And not only that, four here talks about also being patient and waiting. Four being the number of stability and patience. So not only is it wanting stability in relationships, but it's the patience to wait for it. And that's also part of the shadow work you got going on here with the Eight of Swords, right? Realizing, right? Eights being realizing your weaknesses and your strengths. And here you go with the Four of Cups. You're realizing that one of your strengths is patience, having patience. But also you don't want to be stuck, right? You don't want to be stuck. You want to also play to your strengths as well, okay? So remember who you are, remember how strong you are. And remember that if a relationship doesn't suit you, you do have the strength to get out of it. It's not necessarily to say that you need to cut yourself off from ever trusting anyone again. Ten of Wands here, laying down that burden. Here we go with another four. Four of Wands. You're laying down that burden because you're working towards, again, wanting and starting a journey towards a harmonious relationship. The type of relationship that fits in with the way things should be for you, right? Four, 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 four. A lot of fours. A lot of fours. And what it tells me is that not only are you going through a healing process, but you are coming towards a very stable period in your life, Gemini. All of this is finishing. Tens are about completion. This is the end of a very long, hard journey. You're coming towards stable relationships. You are. It's this work that you're doing. It's going to pay off for you. This Three of Discs down here is gain. And here you go with the Five of Swords. Yeah, it's because you're gaining. You're going to be gaining some prosperity. You're going to be gaining in your money situation. You're happy. You're coming into a very full and prosperous period, and a period full of a lot of work in terms of your work life. You're going to be getting a lot of work. A lot of people are going to be looking for you to do work for them, and that's where the jealousy comes from. Don't worry about it. Carry on. You have Mars and Capricorn. Leave the haters behind because you're going to be building on your cash, right? Eight of Wands here. Again, Eight of Wands talking about being creative, right? Dealing with attacks, perhaps, on you in a very creative way, right? Wands, again, are not swords. They're not weapons. So wands is a suit of creativity. So You know, when people come at you, you know that here you're going to be very creative. You're going to work through it, but also you're going to find creative ways to work towards harmony in your relationships as well. A lot of this talks about communication. Mercury in Sagittarius. Eight of Wands is Mercury in Sagittarius, talking about communicating and thinking of creative ways to accomplish something, right? Eights, limitations, creative ways to to break out of limitations, right? So Eight of Wands talks about breaking out of constraints as well, finding creative ways to break out of the things that constrain you or that you believe are limiting your creativity or limiting your possibilities, you know. And therefore, that creativity is going to, again, all of that creativity, all of this work is going to lead, again, like I say, to this happy, harmonious kind of relationship. This is a development, right? This is wow, okay, this could be really harmonious. Now, I believe that this is something that you can find here with this person who's coming in. However, that is coming at the end of this work, right? This work that's happening. And I'm not saying that this is all going to happen in mid-June, but these are seeds being sown, being laid. This is a possibility for a future that can come out of the things that are happening now, that are in the center of your life right now in mid-June. Do you know what I'm saying? So if this resonates with you, then this could very well play out for you over the coming months. All right? That's how that works out. Here we go. And down here, let me just as well clarify. Again, discs clarifying this Four of Discs, right? Stability. Nine of Discs talks about learning that you need to work together. You need to employ all three sides of yourself, the spirit, the mind, and the body, right? In order to gain, in order to be prosperous, in order to have abundance. If you're working in a team, everyone needs to work towards the common goal, right? Nine of Discs just talks about understanding that before you get to the 10 of Discs, which is ultimate bounty and abundance, right? But the Nine of Discs is that last little lesson before you get there, that you learn, and realizing to have true abundance, you have to work with others. You can't be a miser. You can't hold on. You can't have a false sense of stability. Four of Discs, right? A false sense of stability, holding on so tightly that you forget what the money is really about. Okay, and you'll be reminded of that later on. It could be as well. This down here is talking about project working that you're doing. Like I said, this person here is coming in with a new project. They're coming in with inspiration, a new idea. I almost see as if like they come in, say for instance, you guys are working on some kind of artistic project, and down here is the actual work for the project. And you're doing everything you can. You got some haters there, but don't worry about that because you're going to blow them out the water. And as you're working on the project and you're being more and more creative, you and your person are starting to fall in love. And that's the picture it's almost like a little story, you know, that's unfolding. And then here you go, you're realizing in order to have true abundance, you have to work with your person and your team. And that's how you come to eventually, hopefully, 10 of Discs, which is, you know, the inkling of that is here in the 9 of Discs. All right, so this is, again, a very specific message. Wow, Gemini, you were calling me tonight, and so this message just came through clear as day to me. I really do hope it resonates with you all. Again, if this did, please like, subscribe, and share. For right now, Geminis, I love you so much. Have a wonderful, wonderful mid-June. Bye-bye.